Here. Jeb Stuart.
Yep.
George Custer.
Yep.
George Pickett.
Here.
Robert Holliday.
Yep.
James Longstreet.
Yep.
Carl Rader.
Yep.
Philip Sheridan.
Yep.
John Hood.
Hey, Jim. Take a look at this saddle sore. You think that's serious enough to report? I don't know, George, but I'm certainly going to report mine.
You boys can have the cavalry. Me, I'm going to apply for the infantry. Tired of playing housemaid to a temperamental mare.
That's the first good news your horse has ever heard. Go on, Gertrude, kiss him.
Stand still, you devil.
Steady, boy.
You weren't so hard-headed you wouldn't hurt your mouth.
I told you before we started you had that curb chain on too tight. It's not the first time you've cut his tongue.
You ever try putting a curb on your tongue?
No. Nobody else ever tried it.
I suppose it takes one of you Southerners to handle a horse.
Well, at least we know how to harness them.
You know how to harness Negroes down south, too, I hear. With a strap across their back.
Come on. When are you going to take a punch at him? Too close to graduation. Besides, if I've waited 4 years, I guess I can wait another week.
The breaking up of the American Union, as it now exists, is the basis of my plan. And that destruction must be made upon the issue of Negro slavery and on no other. The Union must then be reorganized on the great principle of emancipation. This object is vast in its compass, terrifying in its prospects, but sublime and beautiful in its issue. A life devoted to it would be nobly spent or sacrificed. If the federal government and its constitution are opposed to my way of thinking, the fault is not mine but theirs. And I shall continue to oppose them with every means and every weapon at my disposal.
Who wrote that inflammatory rot?
A wise man by the name of John Brown.
Where'd you get it?
That's my business. If you don't like it, you don't have to listen to it.
You meant it for me, didn't you?
Take it any way you like.
Sure he meant it for you.
He tried that abolition stuff on me till he found out I came from Kansas.
Never mind, Bob. Come on, Jeb. Let's turn in. There's no regulation against a cadet having his own ideas. But there is one against spreading treasonable policies.
You find the truth hard to take, hmm?
Listen, Ryder. I know the truth of this problem far better than you do. The South will settle it in its own time and in its own way. But not through the propaganda of renegades like this John Brown or any of his followers.
You mean that renegade line to include me?
Look up your oath of allegiance and answer that for yourself.
I'll answer that right here and now. I've taken a lot from you southern snobs. For 50 years now, you've been watering your precious family trees with the sweat of Negro slaves, piling up wealth and snobbery until now you think you own the government and the army. And anybody who disagrees with you is a lying renegade, a rabble-rousing traitor. Well, you get this from me, Stuart, and all you other Mason-Dixon plutocrats. The time is coming when the rest of us are going to wipe you and your kind off the face of the earth. Sheriff, don't be a fool! No, let them fight it out! Hold it, Raider.
That a disturbing force has been active among the regiment of cadets. The exact nature of this subversive campaign and the persons responsible for it have not been fully known to us until this moment. Stuart, by every rule of the Academy, you should be discharged from the service, and your associates are no less guilty for their part in this outrageous affair.
Colonel Lee, any blame in this matter is entirely upon me. It's my sole responsibility, sir. That's not quite true, sir. It was my fault.
We're all equally responsible, sir.
That's right, sir.
That's right, sir. If I believed that you were guilty alone, Stuart, I should have sent for you alone. As for you, Custer, and the rest of you, you must be taught that lying to protect a friend is sometimes an extremely dangerous practice. I'm not so greatly concerned about the fight itself as I am about its cause. All 7 of you men violated the first sin of military conduct, the traffic and violent exchange of political ideas, which are not the affairs of an American soldier. You must be punished, and punished severely. I shall request of the War Department upon your graduation next week that all of you be assigned to the most dangerous branch of the United States Army. The 2nd United States Cavalry, now stationed at Fort Leavenworth in the Kansas Territory. That's all, gentlemen. You're dismissed. Now send for Cadet Raider.
How can you beat that? Fort Leavenworth, suicide station, Kansas, and the Santa Fe Trail. What a piece of luck.
That's it, and the cavalry, active duty, promotion. Why, we'll all be generals while the rest of these fellas are still shaving. Oh, that's death of the country, Jeb. Nothing grows in Kansas but trouble.
What are you talking about? I grew up out there, didn't I?
I suppose he's not.
Oh! Yeah, wait till I get you boys out there. Man alive, that's my stamping ground.
Well, hey! Here's my
Come on! These pamphlets were found in your quarters. Dozens of them. Together with a letter written by a member of the abolitionist party, instructing you to distribute them among those cadets who appeared to be sympathetic to their cause. How long has this undercover activity of yours been going on?
Long enough.
Very clever idea of your fellow conspirators to plant an agent in our midst. Your dishonorable discharge will be drawn up at once, and you'll be given until sundown to remove yourself and your personal belongings from the limits of West Point.
Good. You can tell Mr. Stuart from me that he'd be smart to stay in the Army, right in the middle of it from now on.
Cadet William Q., Ohio. Cadet Martin Evans, Ohio. Cadet Armour Marlowe, New Jersey. Cadet George Custer, Ohio.
Cadet James Longstreet, South Carolina. Cadet Philip Sheridan, New York. Cadet J.E.B. Stuart, Virginia. Cadet John Hood, Kentucky. Cadet Robert Holliday, Kansas Territory. Cadet Jason Wood, Virginia. Cadet George Pickett, Virginia.
My sister Kit. Thought 2 years in Boston would make a lady out of you.
So did I. It just popped out.
Cadet William Keel, Ohio. Cadet Robert Davis, New Jersey.
It is now my great honor and privilege to introduce the Secretary of War of the United States of America, the Honorable Jefferson Davis.
Officers and gentlemen of the class of 1854, their welcome guests and their very proud families, I'll not keep you separated very long, as I myself once sat in your place and endured an interminable address by a very tiresome general. But as the Secretary of War of this nation, I have a serious obligation towards each new officer of the Army before he enters into active service. And that obligation is to make clear and definite his responsibility to his government. We are a new nation among the powers of the world. Just 80 years ago, we were fighting desperately for our freedom, and we're still fighting to keep it. We are not yet a wealthy nation, except in spirit. And that unity of spirit is our greatest strength. You men have but one duty, one alone, America. With your unswerving loyalty and the grace of God, our nation shall have no fears for the future, and your lives will have been spent in the noblest of all causes, the defense of the rights of man.
Nothing to go to. There's half a nation out there, Cap. Someday I'll build a real railroad to open it up, clear to Santa Fe.
For a man who made a fortune out of horses, you sure got a heap to learn.
Hey, Cap, tell the boys to speed it up a little, will you? The last time I had to get out and help chop wood for the engine.
Well, the first time you rode with me, I had to change your diapers. Hey, Cap, where am I going? Looks like you're going to Hades. Just wanted to know.
Bob's been telling us about that railroad to Santa Fe so long now, Mr. Holliday. Surprised to learn it hasn't even been built.
Well, that's not our fault, Stuart. You can't build a railroad over blood-soaked ground like Kansas. Decent settlers won't use it. We're losing thousands of pioneers to the Oregon Trail.
We heard about the raid at Pottawatomie last week. What is the true situation out here, sir?
Well, Kansas is a territory and not a state. We're ready to join the Union, but the big question is whether we'll go in as a slave state or as a free state. On one side is most of Kansas pro-slavers, people who came from the South. On the other side are the abolitionists, led by John Brown and his sons. Between those two elements, they've made Kansas a boiling pot of rebellion and massacres. That's why the Army sent you boys out here to Fort Leavenworth.
See, suicide station. It's quite an honor. Excuse me, will you, sir?
Surely.
You know, the first time I saw you at the graduation, I thought of what Napoleon said when he first met Josephine.
What was that?
He said, I never knew this savage land they call America could breed such perfect beauty in mortal form.
Thank you. That's a lovely line.
Yes, isn't it? George has been using it for years, haven't you, George? I wish I could think of nice things like that to say.
You wouldn't like what I'm thinking now.
You were going to tell me something more about Kansas. Yes, what do you do on Saturday nights for fun here?
Well, as I remember, half of Leavenworth takes a bath and the other half gets drunk. And since there are only 2 bathtubs in town, things get kind of exciting around midnight.
Kid!
By the way, how'd they ever come to name you Kit Carson Holiday?
Well, Mr. Carson and my dad were very good friends, and they were so sure I was going to be a boy that they named me before I was born.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm certainly glad they were wrong. Me too. Me too.
Me too.
Hey, conductor.
Yeah?
What are you going to do about that?
About what? I'll tend to that. Hey, I thought I told you them Negroes had a right in the last coat. Their tickets give them the right to ride wherever they please. Now, I don't want any trouble with you, mister. And you better leave us alone. Well, I don't know what this country's coming to. Tickets? Stop shaking, Hannah. There's nothing to worry about. We're only a half an hour from the border.
If we don't hurry, they'll be across the border. All right, go ahead. Where are you taking the Negroes?
What business is that of yours?
We're asking the questions. Are they free or bond?
Here are the papers. You can see for yourself.
Yeah, that might mean something if we didn't know who you are. Now, don't you make a move. We're taking you and them off of this train while they're still in Missouri. Now, come on, get up, all of you.
Trouble. Negro slaves. He was trying to sneak them across the state line. I'll get that murdering Jayhawk over this if I have to hang for it. Who was it? Oliver Brown, one of John Brown's scurvy litter.
Get her to the doornail. Come on, you gay-eyed greenhorns. Give me a hand. There ain't no use spoiling the carpet. Come on, get him out of the way.
Come on, Jim.
Now, don't get excited, everybody. Sit down, please.
This is what they mean when they call it bloody Kansas. There'll never be any peace along the Santa Fe Trail while John Brown or any of his followers are alive. This is the present terminal. I propose to come down here to Wichita, then along here across the Arkansas River, along the Cimarron River over here to Las Vegas, then on into Santa Fe. Now that'll be our first section of track from Leavenworth to Wichita, right over the trail.
How soon do you figure to start?
Well, the men back east say they're ready to put up the money as soon as we can prove that a railroad through Kansas is safe and will pay.
Dad!
Yes, kid?
Where did you put the loading list?
List? Gosh, I clean forgot to make one out.
That's great. 98 tons of freight ready to roll and no orders for loading. How'd you run this business while I was away?
That's why I sent you away, to show you what a skirt was. Look at your clothes. Look at the grease on your nose. What would your friends in Boston think of you now?
Frankly, Dad, I don't much care. If you're going to keep your nose in a paper railway, I better keep mine in the family affairs. Tex! Wendy! Ted! Where are those ornament customers? What do they think they're getting paid for? Tex!
Why didn't you tell me?
even see Lily when I said goodbye to her.
Oh, now don't start lying to me, you double-crossing buzzard. I know you didn't buy that there looking glass to see your own ugly mug.
I suppose you're figuring on wearing that female cinching belt. Wait till Lily sees what you brung her. She'll brain you if it ain't physical impossible.
Why, you ignorant.
Tex! Hey, you two! Where in the name of... Will you come here?
Hello, Miss Kit.
Hello, nothing. Are you gentlemen of leisure by any chance interested in employment?
We lost our watch.
Yeah, we didn't have no idea of time.
I ought to give you both your time and throw you out. Where in thunder have you been?
Well, you see, we had to buy these knickknacks. Well, we sort of got a gal in Santa Fe, Lily,
Hofstadter, and what do you mean we? I'm engaged to her.
well, who ain't?
You setting up housekeeping in Santa Fe, or is this just gilding the lily?
Oh, she wanted us to fetch her one of them fancy French looking glasses. Ain't it pretty?
What's your answer to that, Tex?
What are you laughing at, you long-eared jackasses?
Go on, get to work, both of you. Go on, jump to it.
You better hide that thing or start wearing it.
I'm going to put you new officers straight from the start. This is Fort Leavenworth and not West Point. You were sent here to man a frontier garrison. 3 of the officers you're supposed to be replacing are buried back of the hill in the little military cemetery. The other 4 haven't been found yet. The Regiment of Mounted Rifles has only one job, to keep the peace in Kansas. And we're here alone. There's no other fort between us and Santa Fe, and we're proud of that responsibility. We've got a tough reputation in the Army, but they respect us in the West. See that it stays that way.
Order of the day. Lieutenants Longstreet and Holliday, take B Troop and put them through close order drill. Lieutenants Stuart and Custer will take 8 men as an escort for the freight caravan leaving at noon for New Mexico.
Draw the usual supplies and report to me for final orders.
Say, will you keep all those cases of Bibles near the tailboard? They're only going a short haul.
We sure will.
Let's go.
Convoy ready, sir. We're ready if you are.
Good. I hope you have a nice quiet trip. On any other kind, I'll lose money.
Oh, we'll try and save you that. We'll see you in 6 weeks, sir. With luck.
Just keep your eyes open, boys, and move fast. You'll like the scenery, but don't trust it.
Right. Goodbye, sir.
Goodbye, Stuart. Goodbye, Custer.
Corporal, detail 2 men to cover each wagon.
Yes, sir.
Bill, move all these barrels over there for the next load.
Well, hey, looks like we both got the same idea. Looks that way. How are we going to work it? Here. I've got an idea. Let's draw part. Fair enough. Right. I got the long one. Hey, wait a minute. Where I come from, long man loses. Tough luck, old man. Here, hold my horse.
1 handsaw, 1 seater, 7 and 8 is 15, 12 and 14 is... Why, Joe, there's something missing.
Must be me. Hello.
Hello, what are you doing here?
Oh, playing nursemaid for those wagons. Should be the other way around.
Oh, the convoy. That's a silly idea, Dad. He thinks that man John Brown's behind every bush.
Well, it's not that I mind so much. It's being away from you for 6 weeks, just when we're getting started.
Started? When?
Look, I've only got a few minutes left, so I've got to be fast.
You haven't been exactly slow for a couple of days. I've never seen such a pair of whirlwinds as you and George Custer.
Oh, George, poor old George. Well, never mind about him. Look, kid, I might as well tell you before I go. I'm completely crazy about you.
What?
Now, wait a minute. Let me finish. I needn't warn you about army life. The pay's bad. I'd never be home. You'd probably be a widow in 2 weeks.
I see. Have you thought of any particular names for the children?
No, be serious, will you? This might be the most precious moment in our lives.
I hope not in these clothes.
Haven't you got any heart at all?
Yes, I have. And it's going to stay right where it is. I don't know a thing about you, J.E.B. Stuart. My brother thinks you're wonderful. But then he was dropped on his head when he was a baby.
Well, at least you'll let me kiss you goodbye, won't you?
Oh, well, it's quite an honor, but no thanks. I don't really deserve it.
Well, hello. Say, this is quite a surprise. The corporal's looking for you. Says it's very urgent.
I'll bet. Kit, we'll take this up later, right where we left off. Now, George, don't be long-winded.
Listen, Kit, we're due to leave in a minute now. There's something I've got to tell you. I'm head over heels in love with you.
George, you sound just like an echo.
Oh, Kit, pardon the interruption, George, man. Kit, there's something I forgot to ask you. Have I got any real competition?
How do you think any girl would answer a question like that?
Well, she'd tell me the truth.
Then you'd both be crazy.
Get going, you bullwhackers! Through desert heat and dust, your throats will soon be choking. Your head's about to bust.
The water when you're thirsty.
And all you get to eat is aromatic antelope with sun-baked buffalo meat.
We may not even live to get our pay.
But even if we don't get paid, there ain't no job we trade for hauling freight from state to state along the Santa Fe.
Hauling freight from state to state along the Santa Fe.
There's trouble riding with us all the way.
Did you think over what I said, Kit?
Every word. Take care of yourself, George.
Don't worry about that. Goodbye, darling.
The trouble riding with us all the way. Although we sweat and fight and cuss, the only job for us is hauling freight from state to state along.
Make a little bet, kid.
Sure, on what?
Those two boys? I'll give you 3-1. I can name the winner.
That's ridiculous. Which one do you want? I'll take that bet.
Good.
The job for us is hauling freight from state to state along the Santa Fe.
And to instruct all volunteers not to enter Kansas unequipped, nor to display their weapons to public view. Let that be understood beforehand. Warn them also.
Not so fast, Father.
Warn them also that our plans must be known to ourselves alone. That they join me in the clear knowledge that all traitors to the cause must die, wherever caught and proven to be guilty. Tell them that we stand by one another while a drop of blood remains, that under no threats or pressure do we make confessions.
All right, that's our camp. I might as well tell you, when you get this far, you don't turn back.
You don't have to worry about us. We ain't the kind that quit.
That's fine to see you keep it that way. Save all of us a lot of unpleasantness.
You've been delayed. Was there trouble, Raider?
No, sir, we had to detour when we got to the border. I picked these new men up in Palmyra. Volunteer, sir. They're the credentials.
From Illinois. You've come a long way, and we'll go the rest of it. We came here to fight slavers. The sooner the better. That's good. We'll put you to work at once. Kit Spinner, look after these gentlemen. Fine.
This way, boys.
We've received the news we've been waiting for. We break camp, Raider.
Yes, sir. Let's start tearing down these tents now. Oliver. He's hurt. I'm all right. Where's Father? Father.
What has happened to you? Where are the Negroes you were told to bring?
A couple of pro-slavers tried to grab us on the train. I shot one of them and jumped off.
You left 4 helpless people alone to save yourself.
I had to do it, Father. It was me or them.
You cowardly fool. In future, obey my instructions. We leave at once. All of you, down upon your knees. As once you sent the ravens to save Elijah, so now you have delivered into my hands the precious means of continuing thy holy work. The Lord our God is a great God, a mighty and a terrible, who regardeth not persons nor taketh reward. The Lord is a man of war. Thy right hand shall become glorious through power. Thy right hand, O God, shall dash in pieces the enemy.
Hey, Oscar! When we cross the river, you watch out for that wagon that's got my looking glass.
Hey, Tex, these horses are pretty tired. When are we going to make camp?
Oh, as soon as we cross the river, and then we'll be out of danger from both sides. You know, Lieutenant, I'm sure glad we're leaving civilization. It's getting too dangerous for a peace-loving man.
I run into some of them abolitionists once, but who's this feller John Brown that talks so much about?
Oh, as far as I know, he's just a dirty old windbag. In fact, he's just your type.
Either of you ever meet him?
No, but two of them fellas he killed at Pottawatomie were friends of mine.
You mean Jim Doyle and Alan Wilkinson?
Yeah, and that's the reason I'd sure like to meet up with this here Mr. John Brown.
He's got no quarrel with people like you, Tex. You do much better to leave him alone.
Well, you can count me in anyhow. Even if he ain't harmed no friends of mine, I sure hate to miss a good fight.
This is wrong, Father. We've never attacked a wagon train before. We aren't common highwaymen. You say we have a righteous cause, but this will bring the law down on us like a storm.
We recognize no law but the law of God. You will do as I command. Take your men back, Rainer. Wait for my signal. Strangers. Good morning. Are these Holiday's wagons? That's right, sir. My name is Smith, Jonathan Smith of Newton.
Well, what can we do for you?
I believe you are carrying some freight consigned to me.
Oh, it might be. Have you got something to show for it?
I have this receipt from the shipper.
Come a long way with an empty wagon, haven't you, Mr. Smith? Newton's about 100 miles from here.
My home is in Newton, sir, but my place of business is much closer to the trail.
Oh, I see. I thought your horses looked pretty fresh.
Ain't cases of Bibles. That's right. Come on, Wyndham, we'll unpack these Bibles for the parson.
Jason, bring up your wagon.
Get that pack down. I gotta get them Bibles unpacked for the parson.
That's a funny thing. I've seen that fellow somewhere. It's the way it seems to me. It isn't the kind of a face you'd forget in a hurry. No. Wait a minute. I know. In some magazine, The Atlantic, I think. Well, then he's either from Boston or he's a missionary. No, it's something else.
Been a lot of bad trouble over across the river lately, Mr. Smith. That murdering skunk John Brown's on the loose again. Better keep your eye peeled for him.
Thank you. We shall.
This stuff sure is heavy for Bibles.
How would you know? You ain't never even saw one.
Just a minute. I'd like to see those Bibles.
There you are. Put your hands up and keep them up. No move towards your gun. Bring up the other wagon. Now then, quickly with those other crates.
All right, get a move on there.
Only the ones marked Bibles. Hey, Chip. Look. Our friend Rader.
Well, this is a surprise. And a commission in the cavalry, too, huh?
I see you've got the commission you were after.
You know these men, Raider?
Yes, sir, very well. This one, Stuart, comes from a rich slave-owning family in Virginia. He called you a lying renegade once, and I jumped him for it.
John Brown. Him?
John Brown.
John Brown?
I have nothing personal against you men, but I will deal harshly with any interference.
I might have known you'd wind up with this outfit.
Well, that's one of the troubles with the Army, Stuart. They don't teach you to think ahead. They do one smart thing. They teach you never to turn your back on an enemy without first making sure he's harmed.
Stop it! We'll not saddle ourselves with a killing just to satisfy your personal quarrels.
One more murder won't mark you any deeper than you are now, Mr. Brown.
I intend to be a marked man. Back to your horse, Raider. Back to your horses, all of you. I've given you fair warning. You can keep your heads or lose them as you wish. Move on.
In those cases, George.
What?
Contraband, rifles and ammunition.
Gosh, then we've been delivering Bibles with triggers on them.
Let's take a chance. Everybody, take cover and open fire. Dismount! Take cover!
Cover the wagons and move back. We mustn't lose any more men.
Getting away.
No, they're not. We're going after them.
Hey, wait a minute. The outnumber is 3-1.
Well, if it makes you nervous, don't count them. Come on.
Everybody mount and follow me. Everybody mount.
Come on, Shake Tail. Here's where I get your medal.